Moses and the parting of the Red Sea. Exodus 14. Israelis toiled, chained, building cities for a fearful king. But one night, everything changed. After signs and wonders shook Egypt, the Pharaoh finally let them go. Yet freedom would not come easily, because before the Israelites reached safety, they would face an impossible moment, a choice between surrender and faith. This is the story of Moses and the parting of the Red Sea. Part 1. The Escape. Israelites fled Egypt, carrying all they could, years of pain ahead of them, an unknown future without a home. But soon, the Pharaoh's heart hardened once more. Regret turned to rage. He summoned his army, chariots, horsemen, and soldiers trained for war, and began planning to pursue the fleeing people. As the Israelites camped near the Red Sea, dust rose on the horizon. The Egyptian army was coming. The rumbling sounds and the dust being lifted from the marching army gave the indication they were coming for them. Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us here to die? The crowd yelled towards Moses. In fear, they longed to return to slavery, because slavery at least felt familiar. But what happens next reveals the true cost of freedom. And in a moment, Moses will be asked to do something no human had ever done before. Part 2. The Impossible Command. As the army drew closer, Moses stood before the people, and he spoke words that still echo through history. Do not be afraid. Stand firm. You will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. Then God appeared and spoke to Moses, not with comfort, not with reassurance, but with command. Why do you cry out to me? God said. Tell the people to move forward, forward, into the sea. At this point, everything stood still. Behind them, death. Before them, water. No path, no bridge, no escape. And yet, Moses was told to lift his staff. What happens next would redefine faith forever. Part 3. The sea opens. Moses raised his staff over the waters, and then the wind came. Not a gentle breeze, but a powerful, driving force that lasted through the night. The sea began to separate. Waters rose on either side, forming walls. The walls looked like a mountain valley. The seabed became dry ground. A path was formed where none had existed. Silence, roaring wind, towering water walls. The people walked forward. Children held hands. Families clutched what little they had. On both sides of the sea, above them, darkness. Ahead, hope. But the story is far from over, because the Pharaoh saw the path too, and he followed them in. And the most dramatic moment is still ahead. Part 4. The chase into the sea. Egypt's chariots rushed into the passage. Steel wheels echoed against the ground. The same miracle that saved Israel now lured their enemies forward. But something began to change. The chariot wheels faltered. Confusion spread. Panic replaced confidence. The soldiers cried out, "The Lord is fighting for them." Too late. Chaos, breaking wheels, fear in faces. Behind Israel, the army closed in. Ahead, the final steps toward freedom. Then God spoke again. Moses, stretch out your hand. What happens next would end an empire's pursuit forever. Part 5. The waters returned. As the Israelites reached the far shore, Moses lifted his hand once more. The walls of water collapsed. Soldiers struggled to swim, fighting the force of the rushing waters closing in. Their heavy armor and equipment weighed them down. It was a chaotic scene of screams and splashing As vengeance came swiftly from God, the sea returned to its place. The chariots vanished. The soldiers were swept away. By morning, the shore was silent. The threat that had ruled them for generations was gone. As the waters closed behind them, the crossing of the Red Sea became more than a miracle of escape. It became a moment of transformation for the Israelites. This was the line between slavery and freedom. Once they stepped onto the far shore, there was no returning to Egypt. The sea had erased the path back. In ancient Hebrew tradition, this moment symbolized rebirth. Passing through the waters marked the death of their old life and the beginning of a new identity as a people chosen and guided by God. Even Moses, who had doubted himself since the beginning, now stood not as a fugitive or shepherd but as a leader, shaped by faith and obedience. The people looked back, and for the first time, they were truly free. They had not lifted a weapon. They had not fought a battle. The Israelites are standing tall, shoulders back, looking with newfound confidence at the vast sea behind them and the far shore where they were enslaved. They are filled with hope and freedom. Freedom came not by strength, but by obedience. The Red Sea crossing reminds us that deliverance often requires movement. The miracle did not come while the people waited. It came when they stepped forward into the unknown. Sometimes, the path only appears after we choose to walk. Part 6. The meaning. The crossing of the Red Sea is more than a miracle. It is a turning point, a moment when fear gave way to faith, when the impossible became the path forward. The sea did not part until Moses lifted his staff, and the people did not move until they chose trust over terror. Sometimes, the greatest miracles happen only after we take the first step. Closing thoughts. The story of Moses and the parting of the Red Sea reminds us that freedom often lies on the other side of fear, and that even when the way forward seems impossible, the path can still open. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and subscribe to Discover the Ancient Word for more ancient stories brought to life. Comment below and let us know which story you would like to see next. The account of the parting of the Red Sea can be found in Exodus chapter 14. Until next time, continue discovering the ancient word.